My name is Zack Rogow, and I'm going to be reading from a book called The Water Drinkers and Other Sketches of Paris in the Romantic Era by Henri Murger. Murger was a fascinating writer who inspired the beloved opera La Bohème by Puccini. I'm going to be reading a piece called Heated Romance in a Cold Spell, which is about a severe winter in Paris in 1853 that forced the cancellation of all the fancy dress balls. There are two types of people affected by this sudden, unexpected arrival of winter: husbands and lovers. Husbands rub their hands together, not just to keep warm, but out of satisfaction. Thanks to the scarcity of balls and soirees, these messieurs were able to save many of their usual expenses. Ordinarily, December, January, February are like bandits, but instead of daggers and blunderbusses held to your throat, these months menace you with bills. But this cold wave warmed the hearts of husbands. The tabs from jewelers, designers, and dressmakers started out at half the amount of previous years. Husbands quickly transferred that surplus to the sum they set aside for boys' nights out, when the money ran through their fingers into the hands of the ladies of the demi-monde. But these plans, they were brutally thrown to the winds. Paris social life in February turned out to be as wild as a youth just come of age, and March promises to be no less extravagant. Because the husbands counted on not spending much this winter, they now have to pay double. Bills for Madame, which were brought up the grand staircase, and bills for Mademoiselle, delivered by the back stairs, all pluck a sizable amount from Monsieur's wallet in the morning. This situation that initially gladdened the hearts of husbands also added to the security of lovers. Soirees and balls practically non-existent. The adored one sat by the fire in her armchair. While during the day, her husband went to work at the Bourse, the stock exchange. Evenings after supper, the husband ran to his club or pretended he was called away on business. Ah, the inexhaustible mine of excuses. For this reason, the woman's lover was lord and master, not just of his lady's heart, but of her home. The lover might as well brought over his bathrobe and his slippers. He had all the benefits of a domestic life without the expenses. The lover also had no rivals. He arrived as punctually as midnight follows 11 o'clock. The lover's usual chair reached out its arms to welcome him. The fire greeted his arrival with a bouquet of sparks. The houseplants wafted their most subtle perfumes to him. The lamp softened its bright light and filled the boudoir with a discreet semi-darkness, perfect for intimate secrets. Nary a quarrel. It was charming, delicious. At midnight, the lover slipped out, and the husband returned. The next day started all over again. Lovely, no? But too good to last. Now the social events are starting up again with a vengeance. Today, a ball at the home of a certain marquise. Tomorrow, at the townhouse of another madame. Time to bid adieu to untroubled security and to the almost endless tete-a-tete. The mistress wakes up as a woman, and that woman becomes a Parisienne again. She puts on the corset she wears to fancy dress balls and won't take it off for 2 months. Every night she will waltz mazurka and Redova around the clock. And the lover, if he wants to keep his conquest, has to be seen at those dances, choked by his white ascot. Wherever his mistress goes, he has to follow like a melancholy shadow, casting wary glances at his desired one like a miser who sees his safe opened and its riches displayed to all the men who overtly covet them. Every soiree is a battleground, every ball a combat, of 1 against 100, because in order not to lose an inch of ground in his mistress's heart, he has to be as witty as all the other men combined. His cravat has to be tied as elegantly. The line of his leg must be perfect. A well-turned calf, according to our ancestors, was considered irresistible in their time. The first stroke of the violin's bow, when Paris takes its place for the first contradance, has already ended many affairs. The pair hardly see one another, or rather, they only see one another under the bright lights of chandeliers. All around him the lover hears remarks, disturbing to his vanity, unsettling to his heart. Speaking about his mistress, a nosy friend says to him, "Oh, since you know Madame So-and-so, do you think it's true that Armand has taken the place of Paul on her private dance card?" It's not so amusing to hear that if your name is neither Armand nor Paul. Or it might be her husband who pulls the lover aside and says to his prey with a smirk, "Ah, how beautiful my wife looks this evening. What shoulders! I'd never really noticed them before." During the daytime, Madame sleeps to recover from her exhausting nights. If she receives at all, it's just for 1 hour or 2. And if the lover is admitted, it's only in the company of her other suitors, and his mistress reserves for them her most tender words and manners. That way she'll have a veritable Roman legion greeting her when she makes her next entrance at a ball. If she deigns to allow the lover a quarter of an hour for a tete-a-tete, he wastes it with jealous quarrels. "Why did you dance 2 numbers in a row with Monsieur So-and-so? Why did you wear a blue dress when you know I abhor that color?" The poor woman wanted a lover, and all she gets now is a judge at her trial. True, the 2 of them do patch things up, and they both take advantage of that reconciliation, but it doesn't matter. After enough of these little spats, love starts to resemble an old plate with 10 glued cracks. One day it will break beyond repair. So, at the end of this season of balls and soirees, how many couples will be uncoupled? How many intimate alliances drawn up on pink paper and delivered with a lover's oath will be torn up? How many pretty mouths that one day say one name will whisper a new one tomorrow? Thank you.